War didn't begin with empires, kings, or written chronicles. It began with us. Humans fighting for survival long before the first city was ever built. From the shadows of prehistory to the firestorms of modern battlefields, war has shaped everything we call civilization, borders, governments, technology, and myth. Even the stories we tell about who we are. This series pulls back the curtain on the true history of conflict, not glorified, not sanitized, but real. We start 12,000 years ago, long before Egypt, long before cities and towns, even before any known language. People gathered by the Nile, ready for what seemed like just another ordinary day. But what unfolded was something far older and far darker than civilization itself. Arrows struck bones, bodies piled in shallow graves. Entire families died together, and archaeologists would later uncover a question older than history. Why did the world's first known war begin? If you love deep, cinematic history, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Now, picture a world without borders, governments, or armies. The year is around 13,000 BCE. During the last breaths of the Ice Age, North Africa wasn't a desert yet. It was a lush corridor of grasslands and flowing rivers. Two groups dominated the region: Nubian hunter-gatherers from the south and early Nile populations from the north. These were not kingdoms or tribes. In the modern sense, they were mobile families, small communities surviving off the land. Food was abundant until the climate shifted. The Ice Age ended abruptly. The Nile flooded unpredictably. Animals migrated, resources shrank. And when resources shrink, competition begins. Fast forward to 1964, when a team of archaeologists excavating a prehistoric cemetery at Jebel Sahaba made a chilling discovery. Men, women, and children. More than half showed signs of violent wounds. Arrowheads were still embedded in bones. There were skull fractures and cut marks. This wasn't a single massacre. The evidence suggested multiple attacks, spread out over generations. For the first time, we had found evidence not of murder, but of war, a sustained conflict between groups. A pattern of violence, a story told through shattered skeletons. How do we know it was war? Archaeologists used modern forensics to reconstruct the final moments of these people. Arrowheads lodged between vertebrae showed they were shot from behind. Wounds on forearms indicated defensive injuries. Multiple healed injuries suggested they were survivors of earlier battles. The bodies were buried without personal items or weapons, meaning they were likely buried in haste after combat. Some individuals had up to 20 projectiles embedded in their skeletons. This was not ritual killing. This was not a single raid. This was a cycle of conflict, spanning decades. Scientists also examined the stone arrowheads and noticed something else. Two distinct styles of weapons, representing two distinct cultures. This meant there were two distinct sides. The earliest war in history wasn't fought by nations, but by families, clans, and desperate people trying to survive a changing world. So, why did the first war begin? It didn't start because humans suddenly became violent. Violence existed long before Jebel Sahaba, but war, as organized, repeated group conflict, only begins when four conditions appear: competition for resources, territory worth defending, group identity, and climate pressure. At Jebel Sahaba, all four collided. As the climate shifted, the fertile territory along the Nile became priceless. Groups that once tolerated each other were pushed closer and closer together. Competition replaced cooperation. Open conflict replaced occasional raids. And for the first time, humans fought not over personal grudges, but over land, food, and survival. We can't know the exact details, but the bones tell a story. Imagine two small communities camped near the riverbank. One group is returning from a hunt. The other sees them as invaders. Arrows fly across the plains. Men rush to defend their families. Women and children are hit in the chaos. The survivors retreat, only to be attacked again months or years later. These weren't armies, but the scale of death was enormous for these small populations. Even a single deadly clash could reshape generations. This was the first time humans experienced what we now call the cost of war. Jebel Sahaba is more than a prehistoric tragedy. It's a turning point in the human story. It marks the beginning of group identity, territorial conflict, strategic violence, and organized defense, the earliest forms of warfare. In other words, these are the roots of every war that followed. From stone-tipped arrows to nuclear weapons, from ancient empires to modern nation-states, it all began here, on a quiet bend in the Nile. The world's first war, and the first chapter of human conflict. This is only the beginning. In the next episode, we move to the first cities, the first kings, and the first empires, where war becomes organized and unstoppable. If you enjoyed this deep dive into humanity's earliest conflict, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to join us for the next chapter. Thanks for watching.